Anohana hits US and Canadian Netflix on June 1st, and in the UK it's just been licensed by MVM. This means a wider audience will be able to see it on top of those who caught it on Crunchyroll or bought the Blu-rays from NIS or Aniplex. It's a great show if you like supernatural dramas that make you cry a lot, and since Key is half my brand, you should know that's a ringing endorsement. Anohana sold tens of thousands of copies and is often called a modern classic ever since it came out in 2011. And aside from strongly resembling Key's most popular works while coming out when they were experimenting with new ideas, I think the biggest reason for its popularity was how it explored friendship in a way that similar stories struggle with. The basic story of Anohana, or We Still Can't Remember the Name of the Flower We Saw That Day, is that a group of childhood friends broke apart after grade 6 romance problems and a tragic accident took the life of their dearest friend Honma Meiko, or Menma. Now each of them has drifted apart, connected by long-shed childhood nicknames and long-repressed memories, and despite having grown up to high school and pretending they're fine to varying degrees, all of them are failing to cope. Yadami Jinta, or Jintan, has become a shut-in, regularly skipping school, only to find that Menma has appeared at the age she would have been had she lived. He's the only one who can see her, and she won't stop haunting him until he and the others can get past their differences and try to find a way to help her pass on. The way it sets itself apart is that Jinta is the main character, but he's not the key to everything, nor is everything solved just by him working at it. Don't get me wrong, I love that stuff too. Kanon is my favorite anime of all time. But everyone having to work with each other is what made Anohana different. Sure, we start out with just Jinta and Menma, and a lot of the early conflict comes from the fact that the others think he's just dragging them into his delusions, but even then we have the other characters developing with each other. They don't always rely on Jinta for help, they help one another survive and grow as well. The story really focuses on how all 5 surviving Super Peacebusters got messed up by Menma's death, and how all of their relationships got broken or tangled, and uniquely, some of the most important scenes for the development don't involve the protag at all. As well, the way each person reacts to Jinta's attempts to get the group back together, the prospect that Menma is haunting them, and the eventual realization that it's actually true is different, and their views interplay with one another. Popo believes Jinta from day one. Naruko thinks he's making it up and is frustrated that he's still hung up on Menma. Yukiyatsu goes all in and starts pretending he can see Menma too, and even pretending to be her, and Tsuruko tries not to let on what she's thinking at all, but doesn't want Yukiyatsu's obsession enabled any further. Over time, they all start to realize the things they repressed in order to move on, and are able to reconnect over the same shared experience that drove them apart. The part that really gets me in the feelings, and I suspect that's true for most people, is how this development leads to Menma's friends slowly starting to see her as a person again instead of as a symbol like they had been after her death. To them, Menma was an unreachable goal, idealized in death. They couldn't be with her again, and they couldn't be her either. Both Naruko and Tsuruko still hold repressed feelings for the boys who loved Menma in life and feel they can't measure up, and Yukiyatsu is so hurt by Menma's stronger connection to Jinta that he starts to try and fill the role of Menma himself. So does Popo in a way. While his belief in Menma, connection to the past, and playing peacemaker are invaluable in reforming the group, his own trauma over watching her be swept away is what pushes him to try and be the new smiling ideal, the new glue holding them together at his own expense. It's only when everyone is able to accept who they are, who they were in the past, and that Menma was their friend and a person like anyone else, that they're all finally able to see her off. Of course, the quality of a story isn't the only reason an anime becomes popular. A lot of it comes down to luck. I covered this in my video on Tomoko Market's low sales, which were consequently exaggerated and blamed for everything anyone didn't like about what KyoAni's made since. The other major hits of Anohana's season were dark mystery-driven shows, and in the wake of the still very recent Sendai disaster, viewers needed something to balance that out, and especially something that realistically and reassuringly explored the process of dealing with grief, something that gave Anohana the edge over the zany comedy Nichijou, which only really found footing when it was exported. The time was right for something like Anohana to capture a lot of people's hearts, and that was propelled by its heartfelt script, written by Okada Mari, who would later go on to create and direct last year's Makia. The music also still moves a lot of people. Secret Base got a cover in Bang Dream, and independent artists regularly cover it to this day. I hope Anohana finding ways to reach even more people will move them just like the show moved me when I first saw it. This is Secret Identity Studio, and thanks a lot for getting me to nearly 100 subscribers. I really appreciate it. See you next time.